Welcome back, Master Students, to Scalping 2. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started here, or actually continued, right, from the last lecture that we had in strategies. Guys, now we're going to focus on the exit strategy regarding scalping, okay? Because the last time we spoke about it, we spoke about entries, we spoke about targets, and how to approach the strategy, but the strategy doesn't... the strategy is not part of something that lasts here for a long time as far as your duration in the trade. If you recall, we were talking about entering the market here for a very short amount of time, followed by exiting the market in a very short amount of time. So, yeah. So with that said, I would like to kind of display to you what a rejective strategy would be. Now, rejective in the sense to where we use primary pivot points to pull from the market I'm not going to give it to you in complicated terms. Let me show you. We could even do this through the means of the Qs or like the QQQ, right? It's the SPY has been so dead lately. The S&P 500 has had very little movement, so I think it would be best for us to maybe consider taking a look at things within the Qs. And you know what? It doesn't even matter because we would have to use just historical price in order for us to use whatever we're doing here, right? So maintaining probably two screens, all right, or a split screen here would be ideal to helping you with this potential strategy. So on one end, I usually like to keep an hourly time frame, right? An hourly time frame to look at the more micro time, and if you're hearing it right, it would be the micro time. And the reason why I would use the hourly is because I would verse it against either the 8-hour or the 4-hour candle. Now, the 4-hour candle and the 8-hour candle would be ideal in the sense to where you can look left and see that there are certain areas that you can benefit from a trade, right? So let's go ahead and identify this potential high here. And you know what? I think I should really link up how this is kind of moving. Okay, so let's do the time and date range and not the interval. Maybe so, right? So yeah, why don't we just go ahead and take a look at we may have to adjust that a little bit here. Okay. So the top of the price action here, we're going to take into consideration it's the wick high, right, to maybe the next wick high here. So somewhere around this zone here, these wicks, right? This top wick and this top wick here. Just so that we can identify an area of resistance. So let's note that down. This is our historical price, right? Something like this. So within this range, you're already seeing that we have around 2 points of price action, just shy of the 2 points. So usually when price rejects from a major pivot like this, right, that creates an inflection point. We've kind of gone over that a couple times here. So, we have the parabolic price, right? Huge price action, and then it stops at a certain point and rejects hard. So that naturally creates an inflection point. Usually observed in any time frame too. You can use this I guess you can say strategy. You can use this strategy here with an immediate short time frame, micro time frames, right? 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute. Of course, just like always, guys, the smaller the time frame, the more it's diluted, right? It just becomes more of a 50-50 probability than it would when it has something that carries a lot more weight, like an 8-hour time frame or a 4-hour time frame, where it happens where it's less seldom for it to, where it happens less often. So that creates some issues there. So as we're approaching price, going towards this upside here, I just want to display to you kind of an opportunity. So let's kind of mimic that over here. I'm not sure why I'm not mimicking the drawing. 516.77. Oh, that's because we're not there. Let me see. Oh yeah, no, it's still not displaying it. Wow. Okay, no problem. Let's go ahead and draw it again. So 516.77 to about 514.93. Okay. Okay. Let's try to get as tight as we can to the price here. So this would be roughly 516.65. Now that we can get it closer, right? So let's do that. 516.65 top. And also, you're looking at this this top side here. It looks like candles we're kind of topping out up here relative to that resistance. So when we're facing that type of rejection here, where it's coming in shy, we would just have to look back, because typically speaking, guys, your actual play is more set out to be. It's more set out to be within the 50%, right? So the 50% area would help you in rejections, right? So, for example, here, right, this was a clear area to where you noticed that there was just a huge breakthrough. And then you had this opportunity right here to kind of look at. So in this sense, let's just say that we kind of waited here for this thing not to break out, and we waited for like a consolidation phase. Well, you're looking at hourly candles here, right? So if you were to just enter the trade out of nowhere, you're noticing here that, okay, cool. Well, we have a 50% range that seems to be the area of resistance based on the first candle resisting off that 50%. So let's use that 50% and see if we can get ourselves some whatever. You don't use it on this one because you're still trying to determine if we're going to consolidate in the first place. So you're noticing here that inflection point made, right? We come back down and then you're waiting. So you get the opportunity here. So, okay, cool. You know what? It looks like we're starting to build some volume towards the upside right here, right? So it looks like we can actually get ourselves towards that top side and play a rejective strategy for a scalp. A scalp being literally just a couple minutes long, okay, or less, right? So in this case, the entry here would be immediately at this point, at the 50% point, short. Now that would, guys, this is I am talking about a play here that really lasts like less than a minute, or maybe even 2 or 3 minutes. It shouldn't last any longer than that. This would be outside of any type of catalyst, outside of any type of fundamentals, nothing like that. Let's see. ARCa, you need to click on the left over the trash can and change it to sync globally for the drawings to appear split screens. Yeah, you know what? I did have that. I did have that enabled, right? So this over here, you said to click on the trash can and change it to sync. Dude, I don't have that right there. How did you? This thing here? Oh no. New drawing sync. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Thank you so much, my brother. Got it. So yeah. So thank you, Dea. Love you, brother. So please remember, guys, that this is an immediate short-term play. So the rejection that you're getting from this point as price action, remember the hourly candle opens down here, right? So it opens at this point at 515.27, rises all the way up to this 515.83, right? So that would get you like that's So let's just put it to 30. And that would be just about a half a point. So a half a point would be in an options contract, right? There would be immediate rejection. So this could play for like if you're looking at next days or 0 date to expiry options contracts, those are excellent for scalping. A lot of people try to use with some success, sure, the 0 date to expiry options contracts. They try to use them for like a longer hold, and sometimes the complexities and the randomness of the market can create price to shift immediately one way, and that'll create a massive loss out of those 0 date to expiries. Like really, they're really sensitive. You know what I mean? So in these situations here, a 0 date to expiry on a 50 tick move, that could bring in like 15, 25, 35% gains immediately, and then you're just out, right, within seconds or within a minute. So the entry criteria would be the 50% to reject the 50%, and then just come right back down to maybe the 0.25% or the bar's open. If it does take any longer, then consider taking your profits right away, right, and reposition. But you can see here that the strategy is working, and it works, right? So then if you're thinking, man, I want to play along from the bottom side, well, it kind of does work too with some deviations, right? But it does work, but careful, because there's usually that shakeout before things move forward, right? So these things would have to be observed, and you cannot overstay your welcome in things like this. Now, the thing here is that typically speaking, when you are talking about resisting at a major zone like this, and price action has led towards an upside, right? The reaction here would be the institutions actually don't wait for any type of a retrace to confirm and validate the new area of support before continuation, right? That's a strategy done by day traders for the immediate short-term time frame, like 2-minute candles, 3-minute candles. That's what they do, right? Institutions do not do that. Institutions often take the opportunity to rip price as soon as it breaks the resistance. So that's a way to squeeze out people. So you'll shake them out this way, and then they're going to think here that you're shaking them out the other way, but no, the other way is an inflection break, and that's usually the pressure just completely gone out, and it's through the roof, right? So that's often something that can trap people. So when you scalp for a shorter time frame, do you factor in risk versus yeah. So the thing is that with scalping strategies, you're often just trying to get a 1 to 2. You know what I mean? You're just trying to get something small out of it. But if I'm going to answer that just very transparently from you, I particularly size in pretty heavy. I size in pretty heavy for a large. Okay, so I size in risking a lot, right, for a smaller gain. But I do it in such tiny time frames to where I'm out of the market exposure immediately. So an example, right? The last two 150K evaluations, they were done, $0 to $9,000 in gain in this strategy that I'm telling you. So it was done just like this. So I would often put, at that peak level, I would do like anywhere between 6 to 10 contracts on risk on, and that rejection of just literally 1 or 2 points on the ES, which moves 64 points, right? That rejection would bring in many hundreds of dollars, and I would have to execute that maybe 5 or 6 times, and then I would end up the day plus a few $1,000s. So the thing there is to know yourself, though. You have to really know yourself and know that you will pull the stop loss on that in case it goes against you, and accept the loss. And that's something that a lot of traders have an issue with. So if you have an issue to where you feel like, no, it's going to come back, instead of just taking the loss and knowing that you're going to have to take a bunch of other trades to get up back to what you lost. If you have trouble with that, do not do this, okay? Because this is something that scalping in general is more of a risky thing. You know, it's already weird. So Chad's saying you're pretty much laying out exactly what I do all day. I love this strategy, and I love that you're talking about it. I put in $1,600 to make like $300 or $500. So a lot of people, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Ripe is over there looking at this like, oh yeah, okay. So it's not just me, right? No, it is common for people to do this. Now, the reason why I teach the way I teach is so that you can benefit from the safer move for a longer period of time when you're able to really practice that ability. You know, so as you observe the charts and as you practice and continue to chart, you're going to get to a point where you're going to be like, okay, well, I don't have to do this here. I don't have to do this rejection play immediately for a quick scalp. So if in case, right, you're a trader who has lots of experience and you need, this is what I mean by you having the ability to really pull from the market in any which way you want, right? So you'll have the ability, like, you know what, I need some quick cash right now, so let me go and scalp the markets. So then you scalp the markets and you pull your cash and then you're good to go, right? So, but if you're not in a rush to receive any cash and you don't have to put on that kind of risk or put on that kind of size, then you would be patient on the market and play the plays the way they should be done in a safer manner, and then you just get your thing done. So it really is versatile. You can pull it in any way you want any day. So I hope that this is kind of shining some light into how things are done. So specifically to the let's go to the ES and take a look at a couple things here, right? So let's do, in this case, 4-hour time on this side. And on this side, let's keep the, I don't know, why don't we keep the, on this side here, why don't we just keep the, like a 15-minute time frame or something, or backwards, right? Let me use the 4-hour on here and the 15-minute on this side. So, yeah, any random area, right? So for example, this would be, actually it would be around here, right? So let's just imagine that we're going to trade this candle here. So we want to mark off that top end and go into that candle. You can see that the immediate short-term time frame presents an enormous amount of opportunity to get short that opportunity, or to get short that strategy, right at that top end that we're looking at right here at the on this candle. So as you're looking at this, like, holy crap, you're talking about 15-minute candles here, all topping out at that one area here. So that's that's what I've done so far. No, Gray Band, no. Remember that the 150K account that I'm saying that I passed was the one where I was at $8,200 on my 6th day of trading, and I forgot that it was the Thanksgiving closure, and it went into the closure. So I was like, man, you guys, I was working on my last $800 here. Are you kidding me? You're gonna disqualify me? And they said, yeah, it's a hard rule or whatever. So I'm like, man, screw you. Like, bro, I definitely passed this. Stop. So, you know, so I screw them. I passed it. So yeah, that's what I mean. But using this strategy here. So, I mean, take a look at what I'm observing here, right? This is, you're looking at one time frame here, and you're seeing the 4-hour time frame being rejected at this point. But if you really look deep into this, then how many times does it usually reject, right? Because this is going to be your first rejection, second regression. In this second rejection here, in this case here, it just rejected for a 50 tick offset. So that 50 tick offset is, let's put the math to it. Every tick that you remember you're working on quarter ticks here. So 6080, right? 6,080 would be your whole. 6,080.25, that would be your quarter, right? 6,080.50 would be your half. 6,080.75, 3/4, right? So it's going to be your whole, quarter, half, 3/4, whole. And that's how the point system works inside of inside of the I guess, well, let's just say that's how it works here in the ES and the futures for trading, right? So you're using a quarter tick system, and every tick that you get towards the upside or downside, right, for one contract is $12. It's equivalent to $12.50. So $12.50 times 4 for the whole point, that's your $50. It's $50 per point that it goes up per contract. So one contract going from 60.80 to 60.81 you would receive $50. So, 10 contracts, right? Thumbs up. So that's what I'm doing, right? So what I'm doing here is actually pulling off anywhere. It's an average of about 2 to 4 points per trade that I'm doing on an exposure of 6 to 10 contracts at a time. So let's see. But this is in hindsight. How do we identify the support resistance when it is just playing? That's Dea. That's what I mean. That's what I mean is that you're using a rejective. You're using a rejective period. So you're looking back, right? You got to look back. So if you're noticing here that this is your resistance, right? This is your resistance on that bar. Why is it the resistance on that bar? How are you able to play it, right? How are you able to play this in rejection? You have to look back. You have other candles there that are kind of supporting and resisting and all that good stuff, right? So you use the probabilities here. And that's why I mean by major pivot points. Remember that I used a random area here, though. It doesn't work on every single candle. Every single 4-hour candle does not react like this. So the best way to do this would be at rejective points, like, for example, here and here. Major pivots. If the play isn't there, it just isn't there. And in futures contracts, for example, rejective strategies like I'm talking to you right now are often the best to play, but they will have to be through the major pivots. If you can identify major pivots, that's going to be the best thing that you can do. Okay, so for example, you see how you have the midpoints here? You can do those, but these are a little risky. Okay, like these two, they're still a bit risky. You want to try to get the peaks of the peaks of the overall market. So it's trading 23.7. So this would eventually reach one high and then it'll reject and then continue. It just happens, right? So you would have to use heavy discretion here and understand that this has its risk. And that's why I'm saying that if you are a person that does not know how to let go of a losing position, do not play this, right? But I'm letting you guys into something that not a lot of people know of, right? And this is I've only heard very few people speak about this, and I'm like, I found it. I knew that's what it was. And when I did play that, guys, when I did play what I'm talking to you about right now, my futures tests were gone. They were immediately. It was like I found a magic ball or something, and I'm like, wow, that really was it. So I would be patient, right? I would be patient, and the play just wasn't there, So in this, also you could play rejective pivots against the 50% of the prior bar. So in this case here, this would be your prior bar 4 hour, right? 50% is around here. Look to the left to see if there's any reason for this. Hold on. Right about here, right? So look to the left and see if there's any reason for price action to reject at this point. So you have support here. You have support there. Looking back, it looks like you do have supports all over this area here. Some resistance, right? And you have this major one up here. And yeah, so that's kind of like what I do, right? So you can combine the resistance of the 50% of the prior bar, support of the prior bar, and then you'll start identifying a pivot area that was used before as well, right? So this would be the resistance area, this would be the support area here, and the bounds that you're using up here, right? Those, there's no guarantee that you're going to reach those, but those would be your liquidity areas, right? So if there is enough demand in this zone, then there's reason for you to maybe size in. So in the 50% rejective zones, like the mid pivots that we're using here, that is where I tell you that I will certainly enter the market with maybe 3 contracts instead of the 6 or 10. And the reason why I would enter 3 contracts is because if it does reject and it does come up here and it's coming up to 8 points, I either stop out or I will enter fucking 7 contracts at this point, and my average just comes up right to it and it just rejects and I'm in the money and I'm out. So those are fail safes. If you can't do that, guys, if you can't pull that, guys, I'm talking about really using some outstanding courage and higher probability rejection areas. You have to know that this zone here, if you're going to fall out of the money immediately, because it could shift right up like that, and you could be out of the money instantly, right? So you have to know that wherever you're entering, the next resistance area would be a zone that you can still average in whatever else you have left to play the typical play and still recover your gain. So you have to kind of look at those things too. You have to look at can I recover the play if this goes towards that higher liquidity? Which means that if it's a 50% pivot, I'm not going to enter. I'm probably going to enter just 2 contracts here. So if it starts rejecting immediately, right, this thing just goes bah, 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 and you're like, whoa, I'm like 8 points out of the freaking money right here. So at that rejection, you had already known that was a possibility. So in that case, the massive aggressive entry starts there, and you are now bound to lose only a certain amount of money per day, right? So that would be your heavy risk. So if your goal is to make the $9,000, right? So you would divide that by the 5 days or by the whatever days that you're expected to make it on, because you have a month, right? So 9,000 divided by 30 is freaking some little amount of money. So no rush. So in that case, you may just be able to wait for the major rejection point all the way at the bottom pivot, which I often do, but I've been learning that I can use the 50% pivots with less risk. So I would risk way, 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 way tinier in that sense, and there have been times to where I only risked 2 contracts and the thing just immediately rejects and it's in the money. And I'm like, man, that would have been an incredible play. And I'll straight up make 400-500 points on just 2 contracts, and I'll gladly take it. But I knew that the play was at a substantial risk. I typically use the 4 hour, guys. I typically use the 4 hour. You can use 8 against the 4 as well. But just know that it appears to be easier than what it actually is. Okay, so I would want you guys to maybe consider practicing this first, right? And then seeing how this is played, because you need to ease into it. You need to ease into rejective strategies like this. Okay, so let's see. I can relate. This strategy literally saved me and my portfolio. Yeah, man, I bet. I bet. So Hydra saying, for futures contracts, do you prefer the 1 mini contracts instead of the 5 micro? It's not about mathematically the micros would give you you would actually have lesser commissions and transaction fees. So technically speaking, if you were able to average the same amount of gains on a micro, then you would be saving your money on the transaction fees that the minis incur rather than the micros, right? So you're saving yourself some cash by using the micros. So technically speaking, I would prefer the micros, but that doesn't matter to me because the volume that I'm returning in doesn't, dude. Guys, my screenshots and the gains per day, like, you're not gonna fucking believe them, man. I'm talking about $2,500 to $4,200 daily. And I'm stopping myself. I'm literally stopping myself from continuing to gain. Because you can't earn more than half of your total expected value. So they're expecting you to make $9,000. I'm over here like exiting the market in a panic because I'm about to make more than $4,500 in 10 seconds. So, my volume can exceed $4,000. I think in one day I could probably max out $10,000. So using the micros against the minis for me in particular wouldn't matter. I would look for something more liquid. and saving the money from the transaction fees. Sure, it is a very good thing to do and strategic, but still, I think it more than covers it, with the amount of volume I can bring in. Now, representing certain future contracts move differently too. So spending time practicing what you want to get into will make a big difference. Absolutely. So, for example, if you want to play the oil futures (WTI), that moves entirely different than that of the Qs, or the NQ, or the ES for S&P 500. You could also play the small cap index, right? You could play the Russell. You could play platinum. You can play gold, or you can play the fine metals, right? You can play fucking orange juice, guys. You can play seed. You can play anything. There's commodities inside of futures contracts. So you kind of go towards what you feel would be safer or closer to home for you. You know what I mean? So it's incredibly versatile inside of the futures world. You're noticing here that on the ES, I'm playing these rejective plays because oftentimes they can see groups of people. I'm not saying the market makers, just liquidity is provided. It doesn't matter who it is, right? It's just liquidity is provided at very obvious zones. Even for this, I guess for what we're doing here. Let me see. Hold on. So there's an indicator. Maybe this can help. It's a Lux Algo indicator, and it's a volume profile with node detection. So that could be something that you may be able to use for your. Let me see. This here. So volume profile with node detection, Lux Algo. So if you click on this, it brings up this indicator here. So this indicator would show you the more liquid zones that people would tend to find resistance at. So you're noticing that the resistance on the areas that I pointed are literally the areas that are the heaviest of volume, because I am able to see this by the naked eye. I don't need to see the order book. I don't need to see the DOM. I don't need to see the level 2. I don't need to see any of that. I can see the liquid zones by my naked eye, team. And that's why I pointed at these out for you. I mean, it's because they're obvious. They're obvious. We use primary pivots because that's exactly what concentrates the price action here. Okay, so yeah, using this indicator could be a great help for identifying areas of rejection and or support. So just kind of keep that in mind here. But yeah, this play here would enter all this volume here, so huge rejection and then downside, because we were able to notice here a huge bounce from this area here. We noticed a huge bounce in this area here, right? And lots of rejection within this zone. And if you highlight this zone right from this top side, take a look at the volume profile on the right. Look at the cursor. See all that. And that's exactly what I pointed out to you. I said all this price action right here supporting, right? We have all this support right here, all that stuff, guys. So we were able to see this. So this is the volume profile with node detection from Lux Algo. So type in volume profile Lux, and then you'll see volume detection with node. Volume profile with node detection. NODE, but you don't have to type out node. Yeah, guys, I that's what I was doing when I literally pulled up the indicators and I typed it in here for you. Come on, guys, pay attention. Kick you in the butt. So volume volume profile, right? Let me do it again. So volume profile, right? And then I put LUX. So just like I did here about 5 minutes ago, that's it right here. Volume profile with node detection, Lux Algo. Guys, this is a powerful indicator. Kick you in the butt, both of you. So use this, and I use it I use it in the immediate short term. Yeah, this is really helpful, guys. It's I'm creating an algorithm that's like this, and don't ask me how, but Daya is my first person to he's gonna be the first one to have it. So just kind of bear with me, but I am creating something similar. I've mentioned it before. I'm creating something similar to this, and also identifying the higher probability areas of resistance and or support with price titles. So so just be patient with me, right? But I want to give you guys the tools that can help. I use it. I mean, very, very rarely, I use it. But typically speaking, guys, I'm able to see. I want you to get there too. You'll be able to identify these zones, and then when you pull up an indicator that shows you this, you'll be like, oh crap. Well, yeah, it lines up with my vision anyway, right? But this, guys, it would be a clear validation over zones where volume is specifically concentrated. And that's it is very powerful, and it does have a feature to where you can locate this either on the left or the right. Okay, guys, so I believe it does. Actually, I haven't really looked at this myself. Yeah, right here. So you can put this thing on the left hand side as well, so it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be where you just saw it. Another thing is that if you would like to, I'll give you this information too, because we can do the offset as well. They should have that. Yeah. So they have an offset here. So if you start moving this back, it'll start moving the profile back more. Right? Or you can do, let's just say you wanted a freaking solid 50. So this thing will pull back some more, so you can give it, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's just you can adjust it to your liking. So gravitational zones, that's an incredible question. I have not back tested that, and that would be absolutely insane if they are. Holy crap, it is. Oh my goodness, Kat, that is fire. Okay, that is very, very clever. Super witty of you. That is amongst one of the most impressive things I've ever heard you say. Okay, so yeah. Look at this, right? So we're coming up to the resistance. That's your gravitational point here. So it's technically telling you that it would pull you up, right? But of course, as you enter this area at the 50%, you are at 50% gravitation. So that could technically mean both up or down. So yeah, that was clever as fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Good job. And also here, right? Also here, you're at the gravitational point here, right? So this would literally draw you back down. So that's impressive by all means. So yes, guys, that's I can't believe that we just furthered our knowledge here, right? Using gravitational points of momentum against the volume profile, right? Per psychology here. So we're talking now gravitation against psychology. So that's very good stuff. Very, 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 very impressive stuff. Thank you, Fox. That's you just literally changed a lot for the ARCa Bulls team. So that's immediately powerful. Okay, guys. So just know for a fact, guys, that I want you to do this, okay? And I want you to make sure to observe this only for the immediate short term. You should not ever rely on anything like this ever. The thing that I want you to pull from what we just noticed is that I gave you the levels before we loaded the indicator. Okay, guys? So make sure to do that. Make sure to practice enough to identify your major pivots so that your indicators will later validate what you were already doing. Your tools are not the reason you're trading. You are trading because you are the trader. The indicator is not the trader. You are. You developed this. You built it. You designed it. You wrote the criteria for it. So that means, therefore, you are the one to identify the power before it identifies it for you. So use this thing as a validator, not as the primary reason for price action to reject or go to. Okay? You be the validator of this. It is incredibly important for me to explain this to you, because if you do not explain this as an instructor to your students learning how to read price action, you will always fall dependent on something that that someone else wrote, right? So this is not good. This is not good. Another thing is, I'm trying to develop you as traders so that you also know how to apply risk management against it, because only traders who have been trading for a long time, they understand what risk versus reward actually means in real life. So understanding the parameters, understanding, that this play right here, sure, it has resistance. What are the probabilities of resisting at that point, though? Did you backtest that? So if it has a 65% probability, what's your R&R? So if it has a 75% probability or an 85% probability, what's your R&R there? So if you're talking about 85% probabilities paired with a catalyst in fundamentals, which your indicator is not taking into account, you see what I mean? You have to make sure to use your discretion as the creator to make sure to determine whether that area there is risk on heavy or risk on light or risk off. Okay, guys? Understand the differences. I give you these things. And I give you these systems or whatever, so that you can see that there is correlation against what we're talking about. But remember, what we're talking about here is discretion. I am building it just the way I was built from my mentors. My mentors taught me to read price action first before they introduced me to any tool. So in other words, I am telling you that we're going to go to the gym after we decide to grow our discipline by using the ground first. So we're going to use the ground for push-ups, for sit-ups. We're going to use the ground for crunches, whatever it is. We're going to use the ground to run on. We're going to use the ground to pace on. We're going to use the ground when it's sloped towards the upside to train on an uphill, downhill, right? And then when we grow our discipline enough, I will introduce you to tools that can absolutely help your edge. But this way, you're only going to look at the tools as validators. You're not going to look at the tools as the primary reason for your trade. You're going to use them as only validation tools. And trust me when I say, guys, that I'm building strategies and building things that give me high probability returns, systematic approaches. Yes, there's still a difference. Okay. There's still a difference. There's a lot more that we need to take into account. Sorry guys, I'm missing all kinds of things. A stupid Bitcoin. Hey buddy, price action is a lost dog. It wanders, then returns home. That is how I view VPOC. I love this pep talk, 100%. I love it. Yes, Buzzman, the validator, and Jen saying the problem with such indicators, they would make me doubt myself if it's a little different than what I marked off. So personally, I would avoid it. There you go, guys. Hold on. That's a very powerful thing to do, because you guys already know how much I highlight Jen and how much I bring her up, right? I bring up a certain amount of my original master students because they're proving well. They're showing that they're using the system that they've learned here with me through freaking months and months and months, if not years, right? They're using what they've learned, and they're now looking at indicators and systems that's like, oh, maybe I'll use it, but man, I'm going to probably just stay away from it because my system is actually working. So what I'm saying here is that's their living proof of what I want you to become, right? I want you to become reliant enough on yourself to where you have already backtested and forward tested your ability by the teachings that you're learning here at the ARCa Bulls to know whether the indicator is wrong or you're wrong, right? So here's that primary example, right? Jen is now saying that it is impressive, right? That it is highlighting your zones, but it's more impressive when you're able to highlight the zones through your naked eye and it works, and then it works again, and then again, and then again and again and again. That's why I'm highlighting Jen a lot. That's why I'm highlighting some of my team here, like Dea and Buzzman. It's like, and even Chad, right? I'm highlighting them because they use their system, whatever they learned here. They're filtering it in through their brain and creating their own strategy into whatever they believe is best for them. Sebastian is another one, right? So just know, guys, just know that there is a very powerful approach to doing what we're doing here. And there isn't the approach to where I'm telling you that this is the answer. So I really am trying to create, I'm trying to create a powerhouse like robot out of you. You know what I mean? So that you become the creator of it all. So you say, like, I'm not, no. Like, I'm not going to ever trust anyone again because now I see it. Because I know for a fact that these traders that I'm mentioning to you about, I know for a fact that they had that moment of that moment of the eye-opening moment that I explained to you guys. After so much studying and studying of raw price action, it was just one moment as I was sitting in the kitchen there with my family, and I just looked down at the charts, look up, talking to somebody, right? Come back down, look at the charts, and look at the freaking whatever it is. And in that instant, it was highlighted. It was all neon lights without anything drawn in the chart. My eyes themselves saw it, and I still do. And I just explained it to you guys on Friday. I wanted to show you what I was seeing. I saw the 6 to 8 candles that are lighting up the regression. And I wanted to somehow explain to you what I'm seeing. Like, they're lit up in my eyes. They're pulsing. There's a pulse of a light that just goes in and out, like a right. And they're just showing themselves as regression, and I see it. That's what happened to me. And apparently, that's what happens to a lot of other traders too, that are now 7, 8, 9-figure traders. Because they built their discretion first. Because their attitude was to learn first what price action has to do and has to say before they rely on anything else or anyone else. That's right. I want to create a machine out of you guys, right? Too many times, says Chad. That's right, man. I can see where price will retrace with 0 point on my chart now. Brother, that is amazing to know. So now Jen is saying it is 100% true. When I get sideways, and it does happen, it is always because I put an indicator on 9 to 10. They fuck up my psychology. So there you go, guys. You know what I mean? There's a reason why. This is my ES chart, guys. Okay, this is my ES chart. The drawings that you're seeing here, the indicator that is on, is only because I showed you. I just drew this here, and I just drew this here. But when I am trading, guys, this is what I'm trading. This is, the chart looks just like this. If not, actually, it looks like this. This is what it looks like. It's a 4-hour chart only. So this is all that I trade with, you guys. Especially in futures contracts, right? Futures introduces the probabilities of trading in a different way. And that's why I'm highlighting the way that I trade here in futures, because this is outside of the way I typically trade on equities. On your your regular risk on assets, those are, we're able to trade that in a different way. But the futures contracts, I'm not trading like that at all, guys. That's another thing. That's another thing that potentially a system that I build or whatever is not going to be able to tell you. It's not going to be able to give you the discretion, right? Because you have to, you're talking about building an AI model that can distinguish, okay, we're going to be closing the market here for an hour, right? But the rules to this broker is that you cannot be risk on 15 minutes prior to that close. And the rules to this broker here is that you cannot enter a trade 1 minute into the trade either, into the time frame. How do you program all that? You know what I mean? So that's what I mean, is that you would have to literally build an AI model, like a whole actual thing with an infinite amount of knowledge that has whatever. It has the knowledge of the entire world. Another one would be this broker here is not letting you trade when there is a major announcement that the Fed does. Now, what if the Fed has an emergency announcement? And now it's like you're programming on top of programming, and hoping that the programming doesn't get in the way of the criteria of the trade itself, which already has an infinite amount of just. You guys heard the lecture today. You heard the lecture. You see what I use, right? Potentials of primary pivot points against a 50% prior bar retrace on an 8-hour against a 4-hour. Primary pivot points, historically speaking, on what kind of look back? What's viable? How many iterations of statistics would you need for it to prove that it's worth trading. You know what I mean? Exactly. That you're hoping that the programming doesn't get in the way of the purpose itself. Which is you're creating what I'm telling you here is that the eventuality, yeah, build in your own Murphy's law, exactly. So what I'm trying to say here is that in all of this programming, instead of practicing it within yourself to build the discretionary trader that you are able to be because you are already built to withstand all of that criteria, you're trying to find something that has that ability for you. No, you are you to do that. You are the system. You are the advanced system that is able to cater all that and process it and execute it and benefit from it. So let's make sure to develop that persona, that person, that character, that athlete. You know what I mean? And this is why I mean, guys, that when I'm practicing price action, I practice it and I really do, guys. XRP risk on $36. Okay. The IWM play that Smoke called out the other day, risk on $60. MSTR risk on $80. That's because I'm more worried about solving the puzzle than I am of gaining inside of the markets. It doesn't have to be you. If you already have the skill to do it, by all means, that's why you were here to learn, and that's why you were taught the way that you were taught, so that you can risk on whatever you feel is right for you. That's the whole purpose of it. But in my case, I'm still an instructor to you, and I'm still developing further and further skills. That doesn't mean that you should stop either, right? But in my case, I'm really developing more. So I'm practicing very, very little risk so that I don't let the win get in the way of me practicing the forward test. I will not let money get in the way. I can't let that happen again. I will not let the financial gain get in the way of the building of the system. This is the best way to do it. Even when you have that infinite amount of knowledge, it doesn't matter how great of a robot you are. So let's see, being an instructor to traders is way different than becoming a trader. Trust me, bro. LOL for real. Yes, absolutely. So and then the whole thing is like you have an instructor, right? And then people will often say that, well, you're just teaching in hindsight here. But no, I'm not. I'm trading in front of you. I am trading in front of you daily, and I'm calling out the targets as we do this daily. For example, here, the last one I called out was when? It was yesterday. It was yesterday at the end of the day. I said, guys, you know what? Breakout imminent on MSTR. Risk on this thing if you want to, right? If it breaks above this 403.32 zone, 405.32, it is exploding towards 416. And, coming into MSTR right here, guys, we were literally at that 403 resistance right in here. And look what happened. Bam. So these are the types of things that I want you to identify for yourself, right? We were peaking, guys. We were peaking, man. We were right here just bah, 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 bah. I'm like, guys, it's about to happen. This thing just pops open, right? It just goes. So, and let's see, chat saying I grabbed that trade late in the day when you said that. I love it, man. I love it. I was hoping that people did risk on when I was saying it, man. That way it was very likely for it to break, I signaled the police lights. I signaled the fucking fire little emojis, everything. And when I signal things like that, you guys should know that I really mean to say, guys, risk on, because I can't tell you to risk on, I cannot do that. And I also went to the public, I went to the public area of the Discord. I went everyone, you can take advantage of this now. And then 15, 20, 30 minutes later, it broke out like freaking crazy. So Dea saying, how come you always wait till I go to sleep to signal risk on? We're going to have to start backtesting that, Dea, because the problem here is that maybe you're asleep right when the price action happens. Destiny is saying, I got in right after I saw your message and out before the market closed with a $3 profit, guys. She freaking banged out a 3-pointer on that. Yes, Lord, go ahead. Go ahead, man. You flex that. You flex that. That's good stuff. So Jen saying that's an incredible mindset. You have to have a crazy strong mind to succeed. Yeah. And kind of a not only strong mind, but it has to be robust, and it also has to be a bit of an asshole. I'm not joking. I am not joking. I'm really not joking. I'm not kidding by that. I'm not, you guys think I'm fucking around, but no, I really mean that. I really mean that. You guys have to be in some way, shape, or form aggressive and a bit of an ass. You know what I mean? So you have to take what's yours. You have to take what's yours, right? Because this is a zero-sum game. And I've mentioned to you before that I'm not the proudest person in the world to make money off the trade like that, because somebody on the other end is losing, right? So I feel, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I say, right? But I don't feel the proudest ever to be playing in the markets like this, which is why I decided to do instructions too, to teach that, and hopefully I can put a purpose out there and, just have a bunch of other assholes just like me. Oh my God, it's so much fun. I'm not going to lie. It is. Stupid Bitcoin saying I have a bit of an asshole. For example, I coded because I was so pissed off. Not that I like to code. It takes that level of motivation. Good deal. It doesn't bother you? Okay, good. So Torito saying people will talk shit and say you just talk in hindsight, but those are people that don't believe in what you do. All it means to me is that you are that good. They think it is impossible. Yeah. So last night was a good example of this. I went on last night to show people, the XRP price, and somebody out of nowhere said in the comments, right? We were in the YouTube live, like public YouTube, like live YouTube, and somebody was saying, I wonder what XLM is going to do with this upside that you're seeing on XRP. So I said, okay, well, you want to see what it's going to do, and check it out, guys. We did this live. We literally did this live, and I got emails on it too. People saying like, bro, you doing that live was incredible. The loading zone, take profit 1, take profit 2, get out, and look what happened after. We literally saw all of this go into that money and then reject all the way down. Everything happened live yesterday. So that, it's just to leave people with like, holy shit, like, how did you do that? That's what I really like to kind of I want them to see, I want them to see that I'm not talking about hindsight. I'm talking about this. And then I pointed out to them, like, look at the title of the video right now. Look at the title of the YouTube. It says breakout, crypto breakout. So freaking, we're about to break out, right? So Destiny's saying, did you see Stupid Bitcoin post yes. You know what? I'll go ahead and ask about that. Stupid Bitcoin, send me a message and let me know what it means. The power of law thing. Destiny is curious about it too, buddy. Send me a DM. I want to know what you're talking about. But yeah, guys. I mean, this was absolutely. I think. Oh yeah. It was part of your VWAP strategy, buddy. Let me know what that is. I'm curious about it. But Destiny, I will keep the team updated on that. And Torito saying, bro, the way you put yourself out there, insane balls, but it shows how much you believe in your craft and solving the puzzle. That, Torito, what you just said there is not a new thing. I actually got that in the first 2 months that I started being like this ARCa thing. On Twitter X, I would say, okay, well, if probabilities are leading towards this, then statistics are showing that we would be doing this, followed by this, followed by that. Right? This was when I only had 15 followers, so I didn't have anyone, so I would put that out. And then I think I only did it twice on RDBX, on Redbox, the ticker, which is now Chicken Soup for the Soul, CSSE, right? So I put that thesis out, and this was like 3+ years ago. I don't know when it was, a long time ago. So I put out that thesis, or no, 2 years ago. I don't remember. But I put it out, and I put out another back test on it, and I did like 3 in a row, three in a row before somebody said their first comment. And the first comment was, this ARCa Bulls guy is calling every single shot to the penny. I'm going to continue watching this dude. And from there, like, I got like a few other followers because of that person mentioning that. And then somebody said, hey man, I think it was a friend of that person, and said, hey man, can you look at BBBY? So I was like, yeah. So I put together a back test on BBBY. And I noticed that there was a freaking 84% probability on a daily, contraction to expansion upside. It was about 104. It was about 114% or 116% gainer, right, on an 80 plus percent probability. It was huge, and and it was on a cup and handle, and it was also confluent to the 4-spot 618, the take profit target with the statistical 114 plus percent. It was literally from $11 to $29.52. It was literally that. And I said 29.52, guys. The next day it rejected at 29.54, and then it just ate shit all the way to the ground. And then that brought me in like 100 or 200 followers, and people were like, "Whoa! Like, how did you do that? Like, you must have known something." And then people started saying, "This is Ken Griffin. He's fucking shorting us. He's shorting us all." And that's where it started. That's where it all started. People started surrounding me like you would, like one of those drummers on Melrose, like on buckets and stuff. Like, you put together all the buckets and you start drumming everywhere, and people kind of start just like surrounding you and looking at you and taking pictures and stuff. That's kind of what I felt like. I explained that all the time, so that's what I did. And I continued to just do that. And it sparked a fire, and so many people, yeah, guys. I mean, fucking, I made 1,000 subscribers on YouTube in 2 months, guys. Come on, and that's when I was posting aggressively. It was a different thing, But let's see, power law and stock to flow. Oh yeah, Torito. Just one more thing, right? When I started doing the BBY, that's when somebody that still talks to me today said, like, dude, you must have some serious balls to put out the targets the way you do, bro. Because I know some people who try to do that but fail a lot. But when you put it out there and you're right a lot, dude, people are gonna want to dox you. People are going to want to, threaten you. Just be ready for it, man, because you're not gonna stay, like, you're gonna get loud. And you're going to get very loud, and people are going to start noticing. People are going to start following you. People are going to start looking up to you and things like that. So know that your influence would have a huge power. Okay, dude. So he said, you're probably going to become famous. So, and this, guys, I was like, I don't know, bro. I'm not really looking for that. I just want other mathematicians to look at my thesis here. I only had like 15 followers. And he was already, no, I'm sorry. In that time when the BBY, I had like 200. So he said that this is probably going to grow into big numbers. And he was right. It did, and he was also right. I've been threatened. I've been doxxed. I've been, my family, my son has been threatened. My life has been threatened. It hasn't been a journey to like smile at, but I smile because of the students that I'm creating and the freaking soldiers and athletes that I'm developing. That's where I can smile, guys. But other than that, I've helped people make money. I've helped people without even knowing. I've helped people, retire. I've helped people so many different things that they've sent me emails for. Guys, I've helped. It's gone this random. I've helped people pay off their bills for their passed away loved one. I've helped people with their tuitions that they were overdue on. I've helped people with their medical bills because their surgery was way too something. I've helped somebody recover their house. I've paid off cars, like, apparently. I've saved a few people from committing suicide. Man, that actually kind of hurts saying it. Shit. Fuck you guys. It's been something. It's really been something. Wow. Yeah. I gotta simmer down here because when I did receive those messages, you know, it was super profound, and I couldn't like I couldn't believe on it because I couldn't believe it because like I was also worried about my son dying, you know. So then other people saying that I saved their lives, like that's terrible, man. I mean, I love it, but it's just I can't believe that people were there, you know. So and I understood quickly what my friend meant, saying that this power is going to come with just so much influence, and this is a great responsibility, and then you're going to have to come to terms with. You're going to be this person. You're going to be this person that's going to be looked at negatively and positively from many people. You know, people are going to speculate. People are going to think that you're this. People are going to think that you're that. I couldn't believe that all that stuff came true. You know, I would have lost my kids and everything, says Chad. He goes, you saved my house for sure, brother. I love what you do. You're amazing. Dude, that's so incredible to hear, bro. Torito saying that's powerful, dude. So dude, when you sent me that plaque, Torito, that's like, that's why it hits so hard, dude, because like, because there's been other people who sent me like drawings and stuff, you know, and you know, images and stuff like that, dude, like they've thought about me, you know what I mean? People even mimic my name and like, you know, younger people mimic my name and they do whatever, you know, not notoriously like other imposters would do. It's just like fans, you know, which is why I'm telling you that I want to change the scope of trading. I want to make it seem like it was like you looking up to an athlete. I want to partner with Nike, right? Or Adidas or anyone, right? So that they can create an artist series or right? A trader series shoe. The Nike Cortez ARCa Bulls, right? Where it has like freaking like 3 candles on the left and the ABs in cursive in the back. All black shoe with white laces or something. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? You say you got my money for those, man. You know what I mean? That is in the plans, dude. The institution, the hedge is part of that. It's part of that to try to own some type of something, right? But it would be really not to pocket from the people's like over and over attempted. It's actually to try to find powerful traders, because that's where you're going to find them for sure. You're going to find them there because they want to prove to themselves and the world that they can. So Fox saying it's a huge responsibility. People have massive expectations of you. You have to make sure yours and yourself is always higher, and or you will become overwhelmed. Oh man, that's it's happened, and it continues to happen over and over. It's a hard balance. It's new. Yeah, I bet, Fox. It's such a different world, you know. We can, let's see, 100K speed cubers to become traders. You know what? That would be interesting, because they look for patterns. They look for, yeah, that's a good idea. So Katie's saying, doesn't your daughter go to school for fashion? Yeah. I didn't mean for it to be like that, right? But yes, that's and you know, I've already told her too that, you know, as soon as I start generating like real income here from like the futures and all that stuff, that I told her that I, you know, probably don't get a job and just have a job with dad, you know, and hopefully I can get her to, you know, make some cash here with her old man, you know what I mean, and do her thing. And I know the mistakes that were done, and I know it's going to introduce a whole plethora of new mistakes too, but I know the mistakes that kind of drew me away, and that drew me away from my dad, you know what I mean. But no, it's just for the work purpose, guys. Me and my dad are so close, right? My dad and I are very close. You know what I mean? But it was tough. It was very tough working together. You know, I was around her age. I was 19 years old. I felt like I knew it all. I was a rowdy dude. I wanted to be a rock star, man, you know, and I was with my guitar, and I was going to go on tour, and I just got signed with my band, bro. I'm badass, you know? So yeah, but with my daughter, she's really grounded, you know, and I know the mistakes that I personally did, right? And I know what also the mistakes that he may have done. So I know what to avoid as far as that's concerned. And I'm talking about 12 years of experience with that, guys, like day in and day out at work, like together every single moment of the day. You know what I mean? For years and years and years running a business. So I feel that I have a control that I can help my daughter with. Guys, the lecture is over if you haven't been able to tell, but you can go ahead and scooch on out, right? And we're going to go ahead and do a review week next week, and then we'll have our exam. But yeah, guys, just I feel like it would be cool for her to, also learn how to trade. She doesn't want to learn how to trade, but it's okay. It's okay. It's okay that she doesn't. I just want to show her that she can make money, in other ways too. But she wants to, and I'm going to support her dream 100%, so what if she wants to be a designer, then I'm going to push as hard as I can for her to be that, Speak Cubers have no clue how they would be as traders. It's a global community, most under 20 years old. Oof, that's a little tough. I have a few youngins in here, and they have a little bit of trouble continuing with me because it does require a great amount of discipline. They have to replace the game here, so they would have to find the cube within the trade, and then they likely love it. They have to find the video game within it. Chad saying, I have my son watching some of your videos. He does Rubik's Cube in 25 seconds. Bro, my goodness, man. It takes me like freaking 3 hours to solve one. He's smart. Everyone's pushing university for him. I want him to learn to trade. He's almost 16. Bro, then why aren't you bringing up... just let me know. We should probably put him in the beginners program. And let's let him start. It's going to be in like 2 weeks anyway, dude. Let's put him in. And... Stupid Bitcoin saying, ARCa, I need a 15-minute voice presentation with you and options when you have time this weekend. I'll send out of course. I'll send out a message to options right after this, and we'll set something up. Can you also, guys, I get pinged with DMs like crazy all the time, but ping me one more time, okay? Because they often get drowned. So like, just ping it again, be like, ping. And Daya saying, you cut out for a second there. Did you say we will extend for another week before the exam? Yes, unless we can make the exam the day of the review. So maybe we could do that. Maybe we could do the year in review next week. And then at the end of the session, I could hand out the exam, which by the way, it could be due in maybe 2 or 3 weeks. There's no real time to finish it. It's not like in class where you have to, submit your Scantron or something. It's not like that. I would just, and also it is in some way, shape or form, it is a little bit, challenging, but that's just because we've had 16 weeks of knowledge here. But it's also just placement. I would like to know where you are as we transition into executions, which, by the way, guys, please stop the bullcrap. Get your butt in executions now and take advantage of that snowflake thing, man. You're literally paying for like one. Now, let's see. I can't do more than like 3 sides of the cube laughing. I just got to the cross. I got to the white cross at the bottom. That was it. KD saying, I have a question about your weekly plays. CELH, when you put up a 2-hour chart, that play is only for 2 hours. So does it have a longer play as well? Price seemed very high for a 3 to 2 hour period. No. So remember that I look at your daily ATR. So if the daily ATR meets the play on a 2-hour time frame, that likely means that it's probably going to be a day long. I usually put out the targets that we're gonna experience for the next day or two, right? And that's because I have to keep things with enough versatility for people that like to swing and people that like to day trade, so I have to find a balance in there, and that too, which is why sometimes I'm in a little too early or I miss the entry, right? Is because I'm trying to find the balance between the whole, between the whole of it all, because if it was up to me, I would just be risk on at some random point and I'll be like, okay, well, I'm going to average in this point if that's okay. But that's not the case. I need to try to make sure to keep people safe because some people will hold to zero. You know what I mean? I can't have that happen. So Torito saying, I got to run, team. Great lecture, ARCa. Have a great weekend. Love you, buddy. Be safe, be well. Take care. Okay. And reach out to me if any questions. So Daya saying, I'm still trying to solve my Rubik's Cube that I bought in 1986. Dude, that Rubik's Cube is probably like $800, bro. Oh my goodness, man. Oh, that's funny. Diamond Hands says, right. Yeah, guys, we should probably stay away from the diamond hands. You know what I mean? Well, when it comes to things like maybe XRP, then that's cool. But because I didn't realize just how much power that had. Somebody just had to say, yo, look at this. Look at this 40 cent asset here and take a look at the chart for a little bit. All I had to do was look at that chart for like 5 minutes and be like, $2 are incoming. You know? I'm like, holy crap, $2 are in. Like, we're coming, right? This is gonna happen, man. This is ridiculous. And then you get that reaction from me, like the wait, whoa, hold on, guys, hold on. You get that reaction from me. You get that thing, like, hold on. And they stay silent. I'm like, okay, I gotta go, guys. So then I start putting my mind, I disappear from everybody's face. And then I come back to you guys. I'm about to call out a 150-point move, guys. This is gonna be insane. KD saying, yeah, I took an L because my learning only had one. I'm sorry, because me learning only had one contract to learn. Sorry, but I am more mad over the L because I misunderstood. Oh, dude, that's not your fault. That sounds like more like it's mine. Sometimes I can get caught in the moment, and probably I won't be so. I won't elaborate enough, or keep in their consideration that I have green traders in there. So I will recognize that sometimes I may be able to, I could probably elaborate more. So I will try to keep that in mind, guys. Trust me when I say that I've been developing how I speak and what I say and how I put out the plays in spite of everything that happens. I don't want anyone losing, brother. So things like that always have played a great role into me developing how I present ARCa bulls and how the targets are set out, right? Because I hate missing the targets, guys. You know what I mean? But I have to put them out in that fashion because of risk, and it's just some people will hold a zero. I can't. That's not good. I need to know when AMC will hit 5 again. I want out. I am over AMC. I need to move that money somewhere more useful. Yeah, and then as it was moving up, I'm like, man, this is about to make the move, guys, and it does make the move. And then there goes fucking fat boy over there, man, talking about dilution again, like on offering again. Dude, like, why? Why does he do that? Like, I don't understand. Adam and Ron. Yeah. It's no, dude, I don't even think it's like that. He's just a penny pincher, bro. Like, I mean, Destiny, I need you to get out of there. I need you to get out of YouTube, okay? I love you. I'm going to stop the stream here. Come back into Discord here if maybe just audio can work. You know what I mean? Come back in. I'm going to stop the YouTube stream here. Okay, let me just fashionably exit that YouTube.